Hello, my name is Miguel Ardon and I have developed a WebScraper. And giving a little of definition about what is a WebScraper is the process to extract data for manipulation as converting the web page to another format as HTML or XML. Before showing the final product, let's see a bit of code use so that you can get an idea of how it was created and how it works. Okay, but for this web application we have used React.js for frontend and Node.js using Express for backend. Also using Bootstrap for the design and styling of the application. Okay, app.js. In here we have created a navbar using to reference the user about the content of this web page. It's a scrapper, but where is the most interesting part is on Scrapper.js. On Scrapper.js is where we're gonna render what will be our input and output of the scrapper. So let's check it. First of all, we create a class named Scrapper that extends of component of React. Then for the input and the output we use state, and state is in charge of manage within the component. We call the URL for the input and HTML for the output. So far so good. Now we call search over here the part of the component that's gonna be rendered. It's simple. It's composed by an input tag over here, and and the input tag we're gonna write the URL to scrap, and a text area over here where we will show the final HTML of the URL scrapped. Also on this class we need two methods. The first method, named setURL, is for changing the state of the URL. When the user writes the input, it's necessary to the application to know what's that input, and that's why we use state. Also, the second method, named sendURL, it's sends via Axios. Axios is a promise-based HTTP client for the browser and Node. So we use from Axios the method get and set the endpoint of the backend, this one. And with the response of the method, we set the state to HTML. We change the state of HTML with the response .data. Okay, so far so good. That's the Scrapper.js, the part of the frontend. Now we're gonna see the part of the backend, that it's over here, server.js. This is very simple. We only use Express as a framework for Node. Request, that is the simplest way to make HTTP calls. Chariot, that is the parser for markup, and that provides an API for manipulating the resulting data structure. It's also important to know that Chariot does not render or execute JavaScript. And also we use Course. Course is a Node package for providing a Connect Express middleware. Okay. Now we create our endpoint named /scrap, and in there we have a request function where Chariot is in charge to of getting the HTML from the request and then send it via the port 8081. Send it to the front end. Okay, it's very simple. To this point, and only making an observation that Cheryl has a lot of methods. Also, you can search a specific part of HTML, like a tag, a class, with an attribute of a tag, etc. Okay, so far so good. Now we are able to see the final product, and it's over here. It's worth mentioning that the backend and the frontend are being deployed on Amazon Web Services. I will leave the link also in the description if you wanna see this web application, and if it doesn't show anything, probably I have to pay the services. Okay. We're gonna use for this example this page of Stack Overflow. This page is the newest questions of Stack Overflow. We're gonna copy the URL, Control C, and we're gonna to paste it in the input of our application, Control V. Okay, now we have to press the bottom scrap. We wait a little of seconds, a time, and ta-da! There is the HTML need to create this Stack Overflow page of questions, of new questions. Important to say also that what have in the developing of this web application, my favorite part was when I was creating the backend, because knowing all the method Cheryl had, and also deploying the backend and the frontend were like the most interesting part of this web application. So that's all for this WebScraper.